Great. We'll wait for maybe another minute.
Yep.
Great. Okay, we'll get started. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for taking out time. I'm Abid from Team Pictory and really excited about this session. We had a similar session a couple of weeks back where we discussed about, we gave a demo and then talked about what is going to come in Pictory. The objective of this session is going to be primarily around the training, where we will walk you through some of the important features required for video creation, keeping in mind the questions that we are getting from all of you on multiple channels. And then we'll spend a little bit of a time to give you an overview of what we have been working on in the past 2 to 3 weeks and what you can expect from Pictory in the next 2 to 3 months. So that's going to be a high level agenda. But the goal is to help you feel more empowered in creating your videos for yourself and for your customers. So on that note, let's get started. My goal is, of course, to talk about a few things which are important, but again, keeping in mind the inquiries that we are getting from the customers on our help desk. So one of the number one questions that we hear is, how do I change the colors, fonts, font sizes for all the scenes in the video? So this is very important from video creation because this reflects the branding and just not the colors and font sizes, but also you want to add things like logos, intros, and outros. So the first thing what I would like to cover in today's session is just to give you a walkthrough of how you can set it up. Just give me a moment and yep. So this is a place where you need to go to set all your branding guidelines. As you see here, there's something called a brand setting right on the home page. You'll see this, but you'll also see this across most of the Pictory pages.
Hey,
So you
Abid,
can
can
just
you
go.
share your Pictory screen? We still see PowerPoint.
Okay, I think I share the screen. One sec. Has it come up now, Vikram?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah. So it's saying that this is a place where you can make all those settings related to colors and a bunch of things. So let me go there and show you what all is possible. So there are a bunch of different options that you can set over here. The first one is logo. So as you see here, I have uploaded a Pictory logo over here. All you need to do is just go and browse for the logo from your PC. Just get it added over here. And then you can choose where do you want to show the logo. Right now, we are giving a couple of options on the top two corners, but we have also heard from you that you want logo to be shown in the bottom as well. So that's one of our roadmap items. But for now, please be informed that you can choose either left or right. You can decide that, and then you can also decide where do you want this logo to actually show up. Is it only on the titles scene, or is it on all the scenes? Now, I want to clarify this point on title and scenes because there's a reason which I'll come to that. But just be aware the title is like the first scene. A simple analogy could be the book. The title is like the cover page or the name of the book, and the remaining pages we can call them as the scenes. You will find this nomenclature here as well. You have a title and scenes. That is why I wanted to make it clear. Once you decide upon the logo, what you can also do is just come to the title tab over here, and here you see a bunch of different settings related to fonts. For example, I can choose from this drop down whatever font type I want to set up. Similarly, the font sizes and the colors. With regards to colors, please note that there can be a text color. As you see in the sample text over here, I have my text showing up in black color here because I've chosen the text to be in black. The other one is the background color, the text background color, the one that you see in this yellow shade over here. So I've selected from this list over here. And similarly, if there are certain keywords, important words that you want to show up in the video, what we call them as keywords, you can even select that color here in the brand settings. So please note with regards to colors, there are three aspects to it. One is the text color, the other one is the background color, and the third one is the keyword color. Now, as I told you earlier, this is setting only for the title scene, which means the first scene which comes in your video if you don't have an intro scene. Now, there are a bunch of customers who have reached out to us saying that, hey, we have set the brand setting, but I see the branding coming only on the first scene, which is, and the rest of the scenes don't match with the title. This has been one of the FAQ, and hence I want to clarify that. If you want a similar setting to reflect in the other scenes, please make sure you go on to the scenes tab over here and then do the same. Some people prefer that their title has a different color, sizes, and things like that. But some of them want it to be consistent across all the scenes. So what you need to do is just go to scenes and set up exactly same what you have done in the title. Select your font type, color, colors, and now you will see the same kind of colors and fonts across all the scenes. So I wanted to make sure that this thing is very clear because we often hear this from customers on our support tickets. That's one of the key things in the branding over here. Now, the other two things which are very important for all of us for creating videos are things like a strong call to action. And for that, we provide a setting in the bottom over here, what we call as outro. If you just go on to the outro setting, you'll see again a few options that you can try for different videos that you're creating. One of them is you can upload your own outro clip. Most of our customers have short 5 second, 7 second, or maybe it can be between 10 or 20 seconds, depending upon what you want the call to action to be. You can just upload that in an outro clip, just upload it from your PC and that gets added into the video. Or you can even choose to keep it simple by just having a text with some call to action. For example, here I have already added a logo earlier, and now I have added a text like a small tagline for Pictory. And for more details, you contact info@pictory.ai. So you can choose whether you want a simple combination like this, or you want an outro clip, which acts as a bumper in your video and which will be there in all the videos that you create. Right? That's one part. The other thing, which maybe not most of you have tried, but I would encourage you to go ahead and do that is even for the text that you see here, there are a bunch of settings that you can do. Like, for example, I have chosen the color to be in a certain color, the keyword. I can even choose the background of this to be in a different color. So a bunch of different options available for your outro scenes. I make sure whenever you are doing all the settings, this green color button that you see, the toggle switch, this is what will determine whether whatever you have done the setting over here is actually showing in the video or not. So please make sure all of them are turned on. And the last one, similar to outro, is the intro, where you can even have an intro clip show up right at the beginning of your video. A lot of you have already tried. There were a few issues with regards to the file size and the file format earlier. Most of them have been addressed in the last couple of weeks. But the simple thing is you just come here, select your file, upload, and then it shows up in your intro, which I'll show you how it actually looks in the storyboard. So this is where you can set all your branding. And in the last 2 weeks, I also want to let you all know that we have created a bunch of training videos, which also includes things around this branding and a bunch of other things. So please do go to our YouTube channel and look out for those 1 minute, 2 minute video clips, which will give you an overview and maybe a little more details on some of these things. So once you're done with all your settings over here, you have your logo, intro, scenes, outro, then all you need to do is just click on save over here. And then, of course, you need to give a brand name before you set, and the branding gets saved. Two important things related to branding. One is about the roadmap item, and the other one is again a question which frequently comes on our support channel. One is, here you're able to set one brand. Like for example, I just created one brand over here and I've done all these settings, but most of you have a need for setting up multiple brands. So the answer to that is, right now we don't support multiple brands. We do support only one brand, but it is on our roadmap. We have made an announcement recently as well. So expect this to be rolled out in maybe in a couple of months or so, but this is one of our high priority items on our roadmap. That is one part. And the second part is, if you already have a bunch of different customer projects, and obviously each of them have different branding and all, how do you manage that? Does it mean that you cannot use Pictory for multiple projects? The answer is no. You can still use Pictory, but it's a slightly tedious process. What you need to do is, once you're working on a particular project, you come and do your settings, put your customer logo, put the call to action and things like that. You save, you work on your project, and once it is done, you can always come back here, make the changes. For example, here, if for example, I don't want, uh, uh, if I want a different outro for my customer, I want a different branding, you can do the same things that I've shown you here, save it, and for your subsequent projects, this new branding gets applied. So the answer is, if you have multiple customers or you had a need for multiple branding, you can still do it in Pictory in the current form, but it's just that it's a tedious process. In future, you'll be seeing an option to save multiple branding, and you can choose from the drop down which branding you want to apply to which project. So these are the two things I wanted to cover related to branding. So I'll just save the settings that I have done over here. And before I actually move to another important aspect of this training, there's another question which often pops up is, hey, I have made the changes in the branding, but it doesn't reflect in the projects that I have created earlier. So the key here is, if you already had one project, let me go to my projects over here. So a bunch of different projects that I'm working on. Let's say this is one of the projects that I created before I did this brand settings. So what you need to do is open the project in the storyboard. As most of you all are conversant by now, this particular section of Pictory where you have a bunch of different options, it's like a canvas where you can finalize your visuals, your audio, your text and everything, something what we call a storyboard. Open the project in the storyboard, and from here you go to the brand settings. And then either you want to make some changes, yes, no, you can decide over here, or you can just say save and come out of this. And here it asks you, do you want to apply the new branding to this current project that you have opened in the storyboard? Just say yes to this. And now all the settings that you have done retrospectively after you have created the project, all of that is now getting added into your video here. Like for example, you have the logo here, and I just turned this off for some other reason. Yeah, so you have the text, the colors, and everything being applied. So for your existing projects, make sure you open the project in the storyboard, go to the brand setting, just either click on save, or if you want to make any changes, come back and apply them into a project. So this is one key thing. Please make sure that you do this. Otherwise, the settings that you have done will not reflect in your old projects if you want to. And as you see here, the branding changes that I have done, I have an outro over here. And I have these different scenes which have the colors, the fonts, and the other things that I have set, right? So this is about the branding. The second part I wanted to cover in today's session, which is not a big feature as such, but this is something important for all of you to know, and has come up a bunch of times as a requirement, people asking that, hey, do you have this feature? Can we do this? That is the question number 2. Can I hide the text on the scenes? So I'll go back to the projects and show you where it can be done. So there can be certain scenarios where you have a scene in the video, you want the voiceover, or maybe you don't want the voiceover, but you don't want the text to be seen. So you just come to this setting called the scene settings and turn this hide text on. And what you see here is the text is not shown on the scene here. But if you want the same kind of an experience across all the scenes, you just go and click on hide text and apply to all. Then all the scenes that you have over here, starting from your title and the rest of the scenes, the text doesn't show up in your final video. The AI that you apply from the audio over here, like you have been always doing, applying different AI voiceovers, or you record your own voice, that will still read the text, just that the text is not shown in the video. So I repeat, if you want to just show the text or you don't want to show, it can be easily controlled from your scene settings, which are available right here in this corner. The settings. There are a bunch of different things here as well, but they are not directly related to what I wanted to cover here. So I wouldn't spend a lot of time, but please do go through our help me tutorial or YouTube channels. And in one of our future sessions, we'll go through more details on what the other scene settings over here are. So that's the other thing that I wanted to cover. Now, the next very important item, all people on Pictory end up answering this question, or it becomes a discussion point in our internal meetings also, is how do I control the duration of the scene? Now, the answer to this is currently in the current form, what you're using in Pictory, the duration of the scene is determined by the voiceover. So if you have created a video and you have added a voiceover, like I have chosen one over here. Now, if I just do a quick preview of this video, you will soon see that for the scenes which have longer text, the scene is playing for more duration compared to the ones which don't have much. Okay, so let me also share the computer sound. Yep.
Pictory uses AI to easily convert long-form video and text content into short branded videos for social media marketing. Save time in video creation. Boost social.
So as you might have noticed and heard here, for this particular scene, the text was long. Obviously, the AI was taking a bit more time to read it out. So hence the duration of this is higher than the other scenes which had the shorter text. Or even if you want to just record your own voiceover, depending upon whether it's a 5-second, 10-second, 15-second recording, the scene will play for that entire duration. So that is one part of the answer. Now, it's not required that you have the voiceover every time you create a video. You might just want to have a text and a background music, and that's it. You don't want a voiceover. In those scenarios, please note, currently Pictory would play every scene for about 5 seconds. So that is not ideal. We know that, and in fact, we are working on one of our roadmap items, which I'll cover in one of my slides, which I wanted to show with you. Very soon, we'll have an option where you can go and manually set the duration of the scene at a scene level. Okay, but until then, there is a workaround. It's applicable in those scenarios where you don't have a voiceover. You just have a text, but you have a lot of text on certain scenes, and you want the scene, the video to play that scene for a longer time and not just 5 seconds. You can try this out. What you can do is, firstly, let me just go and turn this off. So I've just created a simple video which has a text and the visual. Now what I will do is, because the text is a little longer over here, I'll just go and click on record voiceover. I would love to reiterate here, this is just a workaround which will make sure that your scene plays for a little bit longer. All you need to do is just click on record voiceover. And then when you click on this, press this button over here to record, you need not speak anything, just be on mute, but let that recording to play for as much duration that you want that scene to play. For example, I want the scene to play for about 10 seconds. So what I will do is just make sure that so I'm done with my recording. As you might have observed, I haven't spoken anything. I've not done anything with regards to voiceover, just that my intent was to make it longer. I recorded. It's for about 11 seconds. So what I'll do is I just go and say apply. One thing you have to be make sure is that there's actually no sound because obviously it's going to distort the video. So now the voiceover is applied. And the other thing that you have to be aware of is whenever you apply a voiceover to any scene, the background music automatically drops to 10%. I'm sure you all know the reason. When you have a voiceover, you wouldn't want the background music to be loud and your voiceover to not be clear enough. So what we do is we just bring it down to 10%, which was earlier 100%. Just make sure that you bring it back to 100% because here your intent is not to add a voiceover, but you're just trying to change the scene duration. So what I did is I came to audio settings, and then I increased the background music volume to 100%. Now for the other scenes, I'm not doing any changes because I'm okay with 5 seconds. It's a short scenes, so it looks good to me. Now what I will do is I'll just go and let me, you can even save the project, it auto saves, but you can still do it and then play the preview. And let's see now. So as you might have noticed, after my intro clip played, which I added from the branding, this scene, the title scene played for almost about 11 seconds, which I wanted because the text is longer, or I wanted the focus to be on the slide, and the remaining slides just uh, played for 5 seconds, which is the default. So this is just a workaround for now until maybe another few weeks time where will have a setting somewhere over here where you can manually go and decide whether you want the scene to play for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or what your video requirements are. So that was the other important topic that I wanted to cover apart from brand setting. And the other feature is related to video editing. And this is also a common ask from our customers who are using Pictory for editing long videos. For example, you have a webinar or you have a video podcast, and one of your goals is not just to edit the video, but you also want to download the transcript in a form of a text file for different reasons. We always hear this question, hey, can I just give Pictory a video into Pictory and get a transcript of that? So let me show you how that can be done. This is one of our features that we released recently, has been, I think, just about a couple of weeks. I'll just show you with the help of this sample video. So I have uploaded a video over here. Pictory has transcribed it for me, and I see all the text of the video on the left-hand side. And please note, while I'm on this, I also want to emphasize on the point that the branding that you have set applies even for your video editing scenario. Just that most of the storyboard features are on the next step, customized video, and some of our customers end their workflow here itself. They either generate the video or they just want to pick a clip from here, add to highlights, and generate a video. You may or may not have gone to the customized video section, which will take you to a storyboard where the brand setting will be more evident. But just please note that whatever you have set in the branding is equally applicable even for video editing scenario. Now, coming to the feature that I wanted to show you, this is all my transcript. Now, I want to just download it as a text file. So this is a new button that got added in Pictory. Here you have a bunch of different formats, but here you can choose the text format, just click on it, and then Pictory will prepare the text file and then download it for you. Now, when I was doing marketing in my previous jobs, this would have been a lot of value add for me, for the simple reason that when we are creating content, the content can be created in a bunch of different formats. For example, if I run a webinar this week, I have some experts talking about a topic of very valuable information being discussed there. Now, that'll be a great video for me to put on my website, on my social channels. But also, if I have a transcript like this, I can just copy paste this into a WordPress blog and then maybe do a little bit of an editing, 10-20%, and then boom, my blog is as well ready to complement with my webinar. So I have a video which can go on certain channels. I have a blog on my website for SEO, and I can even share it with my customers or a bunch of other reasons where text is probably preferred compared to video. So that's the other feature that I wanted to show you over here. So let me quickly go back to the the slides that I wanted to cover in today's session. So we covered this, the subtitles, text, downloading the transcription, and few minutes, I just want to talk about this topic, which we often hear again from a lot of customers. How do we speed up video generation? Well, the fact of the matter is, in the last 6 weeks, we have added several hundreds and in fact thousands of customers, which has added a lot of load on our servers. So obviously it has some impact on video generation, speeds, and some issues around it. I would also like to thank you all for being a little patient, because there were certain instances where the video generations were failing, but that's all being sorted out now. We added more capacity in the back end. But along with that, we are also continuously looking at how can we make our algorithm better. It's just not about the infrastructure in the backend, which is obviously not scalable because there's a cost involved to it. But how can we make our video creating or rendering algorithm more smarter, so that with the similar resources, we can make it more faster for you. So one of the things that I wanted to show you, which we released recently, and you all should try this thing. In fact, there are two things which I wanted to mention with regards to this. One is, if you go to this setting called format on the storyboard, you will see one option called optimize generated video for size. Now, what we were doing earlier before this change is, we used to compress the video and make it really small for you to download and potentially share with your customers or your peers. But then what we also realized is, because of this, the video generation time was getting increased by at least 30%. And what we have also realized is most of you are creating videos which are about 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And in those cases, the effect is even more prominent. So when we did a little bit of a testing and we found that, hey, this is taking quite a bit of a time, and some of our customers may not care for the size of the video. So hence now we have given the control back to you, where you can just go over here under the format tab. There is this toggle button which says optimize generated video for size. By default, we have turned it off so that we can give back the 30% of time and make the video generation faster. But if you think your video optimization is more important for you, your videos are short, you can wait for a little bit of a time, you can just turn this on. But please do try this out if you haven't tried this earlier. This is going to definitely reduce your video generation time by about 20-30%, especially when you're ending up creating longer videos. This is one part. Now, the second part, which we keep telling customers whenever they come to us that, hey, I worked on a project, but I realized that Pictory is taking a little bit of a time to render the video. Does it mean that I am stuck here, or can I continue working on my other projects? So a very important thing, not necessarily on improving the video generation, but you can easily make the video run in the background mode. I'll quickly show you how that can be done. Whenever we are addressing our customers on the support desk, we make a point to mention this. So you see the process has got started, and this minimize button over here gets enabled after a little bit of a time when the scenes are created. What you can do is just let it play in the background by minimizing it. So the moment you do it, you will get a drop down here saying that your video generation is happening in the background. So this is a little bell icon over here. You can always come back here and check the status, what it is. But once the video generation is over, you will get a notification in the app. And also you will get an notification on your email saying that, hey, your video is ready. Just click on this link and you can go to the video. Now, what this does for you is, you now need not wait till your 20-25 minute video is done. You can just come and continue working on a bunch of other projects so that you don't have to wait for that video to get over. So for example, I'm just continuing to work on my other articles or scripts or webinars that I want to work on while this video generation is happening. So that's the last part of the items I wanted to cover from the training standpoint. There are a bunch of other things which are not necessarily features, but some tips and tricks which we have learned, servicing our customers when we are creating our own videos. So whenever we have a list of them, we'll make a point that we'll have more sessions like this, and also go into a little bit of a details on some of the new features which will be rolling out. Now, for the next 5 minutes, what I will do is walk you through what you can expect from Pictory next. So the much anticipated features. Some of you come to us asking for these features, and one of the common response that we give is this is a priority item for us, and we are working towards it. Now, this is where we are spending our time on. And as you see here, this is a short-term roadmap. So when I say short-term roadmap, it can be about next 2 to 3 months. The number one priority, we told you in the last session 2 weeks ago, I told you at that time that we started off with the UX and the UI, and I'm happy to share that this feature, upload a voiceover and sync it with the entire video, is now in the last stages of testing, and we are aiming to release this capability sometime this week. So all of you will be informed about this. You'll get an email notification with a bunch of help information, videos, and all that. But this was the number one priority for us, and last 2 weeks, bunch of our time went into building this capability. So expect this to be available this week, and I'm sure this being the version 1, with all the expertise that you people have in creating videos with some other tools that you have been using earlier, I'm sure we'll get some valuable feedback from you. And in the upcoming versions in the next few weeks, we'll try to optimize it and make it better and better, so that it caters to all the different use cases that you want to work on. So this is the most important one where we were working on. And the other ones which you can expect once we are done with this is, as I told you, the scene duration. I demonstrated to you that right now it gets defaulted to 5 seconds, which we acknowledge that is not the right way. It has to depend on the text, or also give you a control as to how you want to set it. So these two items, 2 and 3, talk about the scene duration. This is what we intend to pick. In fact, just before this meeting, I asked a UI expert to start looking into the UI and the UX of it. So this would be available to you in the next few weeks. Reordering of scenes. This was a point that we also covered in our last session. We plan to pick this item once we complete the scene duration, because what we are observing is the scene duration seems to be a more critical and an important one for the customers. So we'll once we are done, and hopefully a little bit of a parallel working where we can even work on the scene reordering of feature. The other items which will follow after these things are done, one of them is the text editor. I touched upon this earlier. Our goal here is to give a more modern text editor, which will give you 2 critical capabilities. I hear this often from customers. One, all of you with your experience with tools like Vidnami in the past want more control as to how you can align the text, left align, center, right align, place the text in different positions and all that. So yeah, that we have taken that feedback, and this is going to come with a new text editor. So you'll get an option to align your text. And the other key thing is you make some changes on one of the scenes and you want the thing to be applied across all the scenes. Now, most of it is already covered in the brand settings. I showed you that you go and do the setting in the branding, and when you save and come back, that gets applied to all your scenes. But there will be situations where you move the text box from the bottom to the center or different places, and you want that kind of a setting to be applied to all the scenes. That is not available right now. And some of our customers who use Pictory for video editing, they come back asking for this feature because the subtitles of that video, they want that to be slightly above or below because it blocks the PowerPoint which is being presented in the webinar, and they want it across all the scenes, and it gets really tedious to do it across the entire video. So expect that thing to be available once we are done with the other priority items. And couple of low-hanging fruits which we thought are important to be included in the product are some minor improvements on the UX. For example, if your video generation is failing for any reason, right now you will just see a flash message saying that video generation pre-processing error, or a short message which comes and just goes away, and you are not having much information as to why it got failed, should you try it again or not. So based on our interaction with all of you in the past few weeks, we have decided, in fact, we are already working, maybe in a day or two, this should be available. You will get a more detailed message to you saying that your video generation got failed for this ABC reason. Go to the scene and make this change, and your video generation would work again. So that is not only going to make you more efficient, but even for us, we need not spend a lot of time addressing the support tickets because now you can do it by yourself. We can rather focus on making the product more innovative. So that's one aspect. And the second aspect is, when I keep talking to you, I also realize that when you are uploading your own assets to Pictory library, whether you're either uploading a image or a video clip or a voiceover, if it gets a little longer, you don't have a clue as to what is the status of it. We don't show a progress bar and things like that. So all of that is now being taken care of. So this should be relatively faster. So in one of our releases, hopefully in a week or so, we'll make all these changes. So you will have a better information as to what is working, what is not working, and you can take an appropriate action. Now, the item number 8 here is this was the top requirement which came from our customers with regards to particularly the transcription feature. As you all know, one of the capabilities that Pictory offers is you upload a video, we transcribe it. Currently, we support a bunch of different languages, but based on the interest, the popular demand, we are going to support Dutch and Brazilian Portuguese soon. So this, I expect this to be available and please note that this is going to be available for video transcription use case. I want to highlight that this would not, this is more involved for creating videos because we need to make some changes in the AI algorithm, picking up sentences and things like that. But a quicker feature that we can roll out is making these languages available for video transcription use case. The ongoing effort is to make our image searching algorithm more smarter. This is again a common complaint from most of you, one from the library standpoint and also from the way our AI works. So we are trying to address the problem from both the angles. We told you last time that we are talking to a few vendors to add a richer library. The discussion is still happening. We are expecting to come to a decision in the next few weeks. We'll let you know. But at the same time, we are also trying to make or revisit our AI algorithm to see how we can pick the keywords or the sentences, write a better search algorithm so that out of the 6 million assets that we already have, how can we make the best use of it? So these are some of the things that will keep us busy for the next quarter or so. While we are doing this, there might be some low-hanging fruits that we hear from you that we'll try to roll out. But like last time, I want to again emphasize one thing. Please be assured that every single feedback that we are getting from you across different channels, be it Facebook groups, be it on our help desk, the emails that you're writing to us, or through these YouTube chats that we're doing, the webinars, all of that comes into our central repository, and we prioritize this. In fact, in the past 6 weeks, our prioritization has become even more often because we are working on shorter releases every week, sometimes even half a week releases just go out based on the popularity of the requirement or how easy it is. At the same time, a lot of value can be added. So all of that is taken care. This is what we have been up to for the last 2 weeks. If you have more questions, please feel free to put on the YouTube stream over there. And whenever we are ready with some of these features, as always, we will let you know through our email communication and a bunch of other help collateral that we create. So with that, I'll stop sharing my screen and see if there are some questions that we need to address. Just taking a few minutes here.
Podcast to video is a common question here, Abed. A lot of folks are interested in that. Can you address that?
Yes, a great question. This also, again, keeps coming when people reach out to us. The simple answer is audio to video or a podcast to video is already there in our public roadmap. So if you just go to Pictory roadmap link, you'll see a lot of people voting for it too. So the answer is yes, we are going to roll that out. But you might have noticed it's not there in our set of items that we shared with you, just because that's our current priority. But once we finish off all these items, be assured that this is a feature that's going to be available in Pictory.
Abid, there was one other quick question, and maybe you can share your screen for that. There were folks asking, how do you select keywords?
Okay.
So can you show the highlighting?
Yes, I'll do that. So let me go back to Vikram. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Good question. I'm glad that this question has been asked, because we also see this coming up a lot of times. So I'll cover this question in two parts. One is how do you edit the text? So people ask us, hey, once I reach a storyboard and I want to change the text, the keywords and things like that, do I need to go back to step one and redo everything? The answer is no. Please note that on the storyboard, on the text, you need to just double tap and then you will go into the edit mode of the text. This is where you can make a bunch of changes. For example, I want to make some text changes. I don't want this word. I just want for social media. I don't want to highlight this phrase over here. So I'll just go and say clear formatting. This is the answer to the question that came up. And then what I'll do is, let's say I want a different phrase to be highlighted. So all I'm doing is just selecting it over here, then clicking on this little drop icon which says highlight text. I do that, I save by clicking out, and then it's done. So two things: editing text on the storyboard, along with that changing the highlights. Vikram, any other questions?
And can you move the text around as well on the scene?
Yep. Again, a good question. So for example, I want this to be placed over here, and this you can do it at scene level. That's what I was telling earlier. When you want to apply the changes across all the scenes, this thing applies only at a scene level. So I moved this to a different place, whereas on this scene it's still here. But if I want it to come over a different location just to make my video look a little nice, yes, I can do the position changing as well. Yes. Yeah.
I think that's we've tried to address most of the questions on the chat, and there's probably going to be more questions that you have. So I would encourage people to reach out to us on support. And Abid, anything on closing, and then we can wrap it up.
Nothing. Just want to thank everyone for the support, and I know you're all waiting for the voiceover feature. Please expect an update from us on that, and looking forward for the feedback and other improvements that we can make on that capability. That's it. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your time. Bye-bye.